Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. Thank you everyone who will join or who has joined and click reminder or set a reminder. Guys, what the heck is going on? What is going on? Absolute carnage in Ahmedabad. Absolute carnage. I mean, it's just how many wickets have fallen here? How many, like, so many wickets have fallen here. We've seen a ridiculous amount of wickets falling here today. I think it's 17 in total. AXAR Patel has just looked like, or Akshar Patel has looked absolutely ridiculous. Joe Root with his first ever Test fifer. Just this test will be over on day 2. Now, how ridiculous is it? What do you guys think? Is it exciting to watch, or do you think actually the fact that it's going to end on day 2 is surely it's not good, right? Like, you want to see at least it go to day 4. I mean, day 5 ideally, but the pitch has been turning a lot. I don't know if you can even blame some of the batsmen. It's just been really, really tough, I think, in general for England and also for India, to be honest with you as well. And they're 11 for naught though. They're just taking tea, and I mean, surely they should chase this easily, right? Chasing 49, but given what the pitch is doing at the moment, you just never know. And Charles says, I thought this was going to be a post-match review. You came just in time. No, so I'm going to be doing a live. So originally it was supposed to be um, originally it was supposed to be watching the match and hoping that it would be throughout the day I'd be watching it. And but I think most likely we're not going to get the whole final session, I'd imagine. But I am planning a review as well. It's at 6 p.m. UK time, where I'll be having a guest on. Fingers crossed. He's England fan, so he might be really upset and he might not want to come on. But if he does, then I'll be doing a proper match review at 6 p.m. with him as well. And yeah, please feel free to tune in. But this is just going to be a live watch along with commentary and a bit of just I don't know. Charles says poor quality of Test cricket, without a doubt. The ICC should do something about it. Hated it. Yeah, I just think. Are you there, Charlie? You watching this as well? Are you at the stadium today as well? If you are, let me know and let me know what it's like. As in, does it also look like it's a poor wicket? I just think it's a poor wicket in general. Just I don't think forget about who has the advantage or not, because obviously I think it's India do have the advantage. They've got better spinners, but that's just kind of by the by. But just in general, if you're looking at it from a point of view of Test cricket in general, I just think it's been really, really poor, which is it's sad to see. It's really, really sad to see. I think we want to see Test cricket go on for longer than 2 days, which I doubt this is going to go any longer than 2 days. If someone wants to tell me it will, do England even have any chance of winning this match? I don't think so. I think this is going to be over probably within an hour and a half maximum, I'd say. And they're just showing the replay now for the wickets. The highlights just ridiculous. I mean, Bairstow, that was poor batting. Crawley even. I mean, to get that first ball was tough. But just showing Axar Patel and how well he bowled. And I mean, it's only his second Test match. I know it's his home ground, but to get 11 wickets in the match so far, I say so far, they've finished bowling now, but 11 wickets in a match is quality. Obviously, Ashwin as well bowled really well, got his 400th wicket. And Joe Root, I mean, this pitch is making Joe Root look like a really good spinner, which to me is worrying because he's a part-time spinner who barely ever bowls normally anyways. And the kind of purchase he was getting on the track was, I mean, they're just showing the replays now here and the dust coming up after the ball is pitching. And as a child saying here, I think they're going to have to investigate it, to be honest with you. And it might not be a case of it being India's fault. It just might just be because the way it was prepared was poor. They probably said, I reckon, the Indian board or also the players or management probably said, yeah, let's make it a little bit spinner friendly more than usual, because I think Ahmedabad normally doesn't play like this from what I know. I think Achar, you said that as well. And yeah, next thing you know, what happens? In comes this track, which just looks unbelievable. Just looks absolutely unbelievable. And it's crazy, absolutely crazy. The ball's turning square on day 1. It was pretty much, and now it's the spin variation is absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. Assalamu alaikum assalam. Thank you for joining, guys, as well. Thanks everyone for joining. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do England have any chance in this match? I don't think they do. I think this is done and dusted, really. But I don't know. I was going to go in the late half of the second session for the obvious reason I skipped it. Moment of silence for those who got season tickets for all 5 days. Yeah, I know. I try. What happens? Do they get a refund? They must get a refund, right? For a day if they took a season ticket, surely, or is it just a case of, well, the match is finished, so sorry, no money back. You watched the first 2 days. I wonder how that works. Surely they have to get money back. They haven't even watched half a test match, because I can't see this going to day 3. There's no way. They're having dinner now, but they've got another at least 2 hours of play, potentially 3 hours of play that they could utilize. I mean, India are going to get this unless we see something ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Oh man, an absolutely ridiculous display from Joe Root, maybe. Can Joe Root get 10 wickets? I mean, what did you guys think, though? Everyone who's watching as well, do you feel like, did you enjoy? Are you enjoying watching it? I think is the main. Forget about whether you're an India fan or an England fan. Of course, I think as an Indian fan, you'll be happy because India are going to take a 2-1 lead, right? Unless something like miraculous happens. But just if you take a step back and look at it kind of from a neutral point of view or objectively, the pitch, is it playing right? I mean, Axar Patel bowled fantastically well. I think he really utilized the pitch to the best visibility, and he clearly is a quality bowler. And I don't want to take anything away from him, because 11 wickets in a match is still a ridiculous feat. And to be honest with you, he did well to get more wickets than Ashwin, because we know how good Ashwin is, and considering the conditions were good for spinners, I thought he bowled fantastically well. But I mean, most of the England batsmen, the way they got out, I was just thinking, what can he really do? Like, yeah, you can say after, or maybe you could have got more in line, pick it out of the hand, etc. But when it's doing that much off the pitch, it's damn tough. Like, they won't. No one's used to that. Even the Indian players, as you could see, which is why we saw 2 low scores. Charles says, no refund. That's clearly stated unless there is a washed out test match all day. Oh, that's harsh, man. Although actually, I think they've got the same thing here in the UK, but I don't know whether you can get. I think you have to pay individually for each day, so you can't pay. It's not like a season ticket for the match, if that makes sense. When you get to go to every single day, I think anyway. But I've been to a few here, and luckily, we went to one actually. We paid for it. We got there, and I think we watched half a session. It was actually England versus Pakistan at Lords, and Pakistan actually cleaned up England pretty quickly. It was quite a few years back. Just showing some of the wickets here, and I tell you what, it's what you like to call a spinner's paradise. And Stokes actually, I thought, batted quite well whilst he was in. If he'd batted like that, Stokes, in the first innings, I think he would have got a decent score, because the pitch has deteriorated even more now. But it wasn't that bad. I didn't think it was still bad, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. But yeah, I'm hoping that the second Test match is not going to be like this. Surely they're going to prepare a different pitch. I don't mind it being a slight advantage to the home team. That's part and parcel of Test cricket. That's a challenge, but I just think, even for the Indian batsmen, would they really want to bat on that again? Because it's going to definitely affect their averages, apart from Rohit Sharma, who seems to be able to bat on it, and Zach Crawley in the first innings, I guess, as well. But then it shows, right? Because in the second innings, he just got cleaned up first ball, which kind of says it all. Ollie Pope is another one. He's quite young, and England have got a pretty inexperienced batting lineup, but I mean, it's a weird one. I mean, I'm just showing the shot that Jofra Archer played. It's such a slog, terrible shot, absolutely terrible shot. But yeah, I think in general, Axar Patel has bowled. He's bowled beautifully, hasn't he? He really has. I think personally, anyway, bowled really, really well. In general, I think he's done a fantastic job, and surely he's going to get man of the match. I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't get man of the match. He's a really quality player. And do you guys think he's better than Jadeja? Do you think he can keep Jadeja out of the team? Out of the team, yeah. Let me know what you think, because I think that would be very, very interesting. Surely they're going to have to look at that at some point, right? And say, is he better or worse. You know, I don't know, and they're going to have to make a call on that at some point. But if Akshar Patel keeps on playing the way he is, it's going to be damn hard to take him out of the team, isn't it? It's going to be hard to say actually no, you shouldn't be in the team because he's playing mighty well, to say the least. Is Akshar Patel or Akshar Patel even? I should probably say his name properly because I know how to pronounce it properly. Akshar Patel. And just showing his wickets now here, and also Ashwin. I mean, Leach's wicket was pretty. He just tried to go big. He hit a really nice six down the ground, Leach, though, to be fair. Off, I think it was, Akshar Patel and Boxing Queen says, "Hi, I'm coming back." Achal says, "No, I didn't enjoy it. I predicted yesterday that Root could have had his career best figures. You did actually. I tell you what, Achal, you did. I remember that, and I laughed it off. I'm pretty sure I laughed it off, or I said, I said that he'd probably bowl a little bit, but I didn't think he'd get his career best figures. But you were completely right. So well done, massive, really good prediction from you." Luckily, I'm not a betting man, as I could have lost a lot of money on that. And he says, "I predicted yesterday that Root could have his career best figures, and he did. Shows you how one side of the pitch is no help for seamers. Batting too has a huge element of luck." Yeah, I think it's, and I said this earlier actually, and one side is the right phrase, I think, because I said this pitch is too one-sided, and one-sided not necessarily to a certain team, but to a discipline, and not even just a discipline, but a sector of that discipline, which is spinners. Nothing really to the seamers, and what else? I mean, come on, do you guys? Is there anything else? The seamers have nothing. The batsmen have nothing. It's just a dust bowl, really, now, isn't it? And it's deteriorated even more. It's just not good from a neutral point of view. From an Indian point of view, fantastic, they got the win. But even they'll be thinking, do I really want to know? Like, I wasn't much of a competition, and also for it to end in 2 days is just a bit. They may as well play 3 20-20s now after this. That's how you make sure that you give people's money's worth. But India need 49 runs to win. I think we're going to get play resuming soon. And Sardak says, "I still want Rohit to get out." Rohit, Sardak, do you not like Rohit Sharma? Do you have? Are you not a fan of his? um, Actually, you guys as well watching. Can anyone explain to me what the beef is between Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli? Because I've heard there's like this, they don't really like each other too much. But can someone explain to me why, or like where that's come about? Because I think it's quite an interesting one. I have no idea why, obviously, but I just thought maybe some of the Indian fans or people in India might know why that's the case. Like, what's this? I know they've obviously got two big egos, but apart from that, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thanks very much, guys, as well for tuning in. Please do remember to like the video as well. And I think everyone in the chat has subscribed, so I really do appreciate it. It's helpful as well. Let's have a look here. Pakistan Cricket Live News. Thank you for joining. It says Hassan tomorrow. The name is Hassan Ali. A big fan of Hassan Ali. For anyone who doesn't know, Pakistan Cricket Live News is a 13-year-old, so take it easy on him. But he is a big Hassan Ali fan and PSL fan, I think. So no PSL on today, though. They've got 2 matches on tomorrow, so I'll just be focusing on the England versus India match today. And to be honest with you, I was thinking I'd have to cover all of it tomorrow, but in a way, it's good for me from a scheduling point of view because it's going to be damn easy because this match is going to be wrapped up today and wrapped up in a pretty ridiculous fashion. I was actually going to do a watch along, like a longer watch along, Saturday morning, UK time, or even in the afternoon, just kind of a longer one, but that's not going to happen because clearly people are getting absolutely skittled out here, and it's just it's carnage. You know what? I'd love to bowl on this. I was a bit what's the word? Let's say I was a little bit, just a little bit optimistic and said, "Oh, I'd get a wicket on this because I bowl a little bit of leg spin. I'm more of a batsman. I open the batting for the local club, but well, I open the batting for one of the teams for my local club anyway." And I bought a little bit of leg spin, but I was just like, no, that's silly. Because I thought if Root can get a wicket, surely I can. But no way. Not happening at all. And so Dark says, I feel bad for people who got tickets for the 3rd to 5th of May. for third to fifth day. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. The best way to do it is if because you said what's the word? You said what's the word? You said that actually okay, the pitch is terrible, and next thing you know, like we're not going to see anything for the third to fifth day. No one gets a refund. So what do you do? You know what they should do? They should put on three T20s. That's what I would do as a player as well. You've only played 2 days, and three T20s is a lot less hassle and strain on the body than a test match. And it doesn't even need to be. It doesn't need to be what's the word ranked. It can just be like friendlies. That's what it can be. Like forget about making it can still be competitive but good fun. That's what I would say personally. But yeah, let's see how it is. Ah, Pakistan Cricket Live News says why today live was very poor. Not sure what you mean. Pakistan, let me know. Pakistan Cricket Live News. Yeah, I feel bad though, Sratak. And guys listening, do any of you know about the Kohli Rohit Sharma beef? I just want to know just while we're waiting for the play because I'm quite interested in it. I want to expand my knowledge, and also, who doesn't like a little bit of gossip? Charles put in a fantastic comment. Let's see what he said. He says England have lost the match because of decisions made off the field. Had England had an extra spinner, India would have been 30-40 short. That's at par with India. That's why this was bad Test cricket. Yeah, I think personally there's a multitude of factors. I think number one, India just better in the spin department than England, just like period. To be honest with you, so I think India would have won, which is fine. Like making a spinner friendly pitches, I don't have an issue with it. I just think in general to make a pitch that only lasts 2 days is not it's not good, is it? I think as everyone I think is saying and agreeing with you want to see it go at least 4 days, if not five potentially. But yeah, it's also a contributing factor is the fact that England didn't pick an extra spinner. But the issue that they have is that they don't trust Don Best. They thought that they'd be more for the seamers, which was a big mistake for them. And Achayu said, "Look, normally this pitch doesn't play like this." So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about this pitch? Normally plays has a little bit of help for the seamers, let's say, and especially early doors. But eventually, the spinners obviously come into play, as is always the case normally on Indian subcontinent pitches, anyway. But this time it just turned from day one. And you said in the side, Mushtaq Ali Trophy, obviously it wasn't like that. So it's not a case of they dodged the pitch, but I think maybe the Indian team said maybe make it a little bit more spin friendly, which is fine. But I think the groundsmen have gone crazy with it, and they've just completely made it into some kind of ranked turner, which is just it's made the game. I think for both teams really really tough, especially from a batting point of view anyway. It's made it really tough, and it's just not great viewing. Like you don't want to see a match where it's like 600, in my opinion, and you don't want to see a match where people get bowled up for 100 or below or under even. You want to see a match where it's between what 250 to maybe 400, 450, and kind of in between that range, and then you start getting a good game. So I don't know. I just think maybe it's two in favour of one, and one side, as you said, a trial end. But I agree with you. I think England, the issue they had is that they don't have faith in Don Best. They could have picked one of the reserve spinners. They didn't want to do that clearly. I actually know some of the reserve spinners quite well. Amar Verdi plays for Surrey here in the UK, and he's a pretty good spinner, and he's young as well. Would he have done a better job than someone like I don't know Joe Root? Who knows? I think he probably would have. Matt Parkinson is a leg spinner, and Mason Crane is a leg spinner. So, would Don Best have done well today? That's the other thing. I mean, there's a lot there for the spinners. There's an argument to say, yeah, like he would have done. I thought Leach bowled quite well, but he didn't have much support. And then obviously Root came with the fifer out of nowhere, and that's why he realised, look, okay, I made it. He probably at that point when he got a wicket on the first delivery and the purchase he got, he probably thought, okay, I probably made a mistake here with the selection. I'm going to have to bowl here. And he put himself on to bowl, right? And Anderson and Broad and even Archer, to a degree, they're all useless on this pitch. That's just the fact of the matter, really. They're useless. And India obviously knew that the pitch was going to be more spinner friendly, so they picked three spinners. England should have looked at the pitch and changed their selection. I think they had that selection and they thought, oh, what's the point? We may as well not. They looked at the picture and thought, there's going to be some for the seamers. They would have seen pictures beforehand. On the day, as soon as they saw the pictures, they just said, no, we're going to change it straight away, and they didn't. And I think for me, but I agree, 30, 40 more runs and it's a competitive game. But again, it's still only going 2 days, which is poor, I think. Hello, Boomer. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate it. What do you think, Boomer, about the days played? Do you agree that, or are you happy that's only going to go 2 days? From an Indian point of view, it's great in terms of winning it, but surely this is not what we want to see in Test cricket, right? Test cricket only lasting 2 days. I think we're saying it's a couple of contributing factors. One, I think the pitch. Two, when I say the pitch, I mean not just for one team in favour of India, just the pitch in general has been terrible for batting on. And two, I think England's omission of not including a second spinner, which has been terrible. I think their selection has been poor in terms of picking 3 seamers or 4 seamers if you include Stokes in that, and only 1 spinner. And so Taka said, so basically half the Indians support Rohit and the other half support Virat. Everyone loves them for the players they are, but Rohit is a better T20 captain as he has led Mumbai Indians to victory in the IPL 5 times. That's a really interesting one. I'm going to be quite controversial. Yeah, I've heard about that, and I think Rohit Sharma should be captain of the T20s, ideally. I think Virat Kohli should be captain in the ODIs, and then you can have that kind of between Virat and Rahane for the Test matches. That's what I would do. But again, like Virat Kohli has been so good in all 3 formats, it's really tough to disagree. Let's see here. Charles says, historically, this used to be a batsman's paradise on day 1 to 3 and then spun. Lol, my pitch predictions were completely wrong. I have seen teams scoring 700 plus here. I need to delete my cache memory. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So this is actually Cash, who's in the cricket WhatsApp group with us, said then there probably needs to be parameters where you can only change a pitch so much, because Rohit Sharma made a really good point where he said before the match, and he said, look, we don't complain about playing on green tops, which is 100% understandable. But, and I've said this as well, and I'll stick by it, here in the UK, stadiums and pitches, they play a certain way, right? They don't change as much as this pitch has changed. Like, never. I've never, ever seen it happen. Like, if for example, the Oval is more known for being flatter, and then towards the end of like 4th, 5th day, it'll spin a lot. That's historically what's always happened, and pretty much you'll see that similar trend. It might vary slightly, but not much. Here, like you're saying, Achal, the first day 1 to 3, on day 1, it was spinning more than a day 5 pitch, some day 5 pitches. And I think it just ruins the spectacle of Test cricket. I don't care whether it's even if it was an advantage to England, I'd say exactly the same thing, because I just think it doesn't matter. It's just a case of Test cricket in general. Like, you want to see it go to day 4, day 5. I think it's exciting to see the ball spinning past the bat like that. But you never want it to be so much of an advantage that you have Root and Leach opening the bowling. Which, would you ever imagine that? And that, I think, sums it up, I think, for me, personally. Hello, Ashjad. Thank you for joining.
No problem. I'm here for about 5 minutes till India win, obviously in 5 minutes, in this over.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you know, I don't agree with you completely. I actually enjoy this pitch. I like watching matches like these, but I do prefer 5-day Test matches, obviously. But it's hilarious. Joe Root opening the bowling for England is an absolutely hilarious thing that I never thought would happen anytime soon. Yeah, I'd say what could be the issue in your opinion, Fazan, then with the pitch? Because to me, it's not just the pitch; it has to be the application of the batsman. Because the way Zach Crawley played the way Rohit Sharma played, they didn't seem to have as much of a problem. But
yeah,
the issue is not with the sharp turn; it's the one that goes straight on. That's where the biggest issue, unless you're Joe Root, because Joe Root is spinning at miles. Yeah. Right.
But the issue is that the sharp turn, because the sharp turn's there, that's in the back of their minds. And the one that does go straight on, they're struggling with it because the deviation is so much, right? Normally when it turns, it doesn't turn that much. So then sometimes you can get away with it. But if they're not playing it and they pick it wrong, the deviation is so much That's why you're seeing people get cleaned up like this as well in LBW, and the bat is so far away from the ball, it's ridiculous.
For me, the way I've seen it is, and again, this is my take on it. I think the pitch hasn't been as bad as the application of the batsman in this instance. And as you said, yes, it's turning a bit more than you expect on day 1 and day 2. Usually, this
that's 4 runs. 4 runs on the first. Sorry, 4 runs off the first ball. So I think India are going to get this pretty quickly. But yeah, sorry, I should carry on.
Yeah, I was just saying. I think yes, it is spinning a lot, but that's the type of conditions that you're prone to get in what do you call it in India, right, or in the subcontinent. The pitches. Oh, come on, man! You know the Sri Lanka England games. It was spinning square on the second, third day. Yes, second, third day is fine. First day isn't ideal. Yes, I understand what you're saying. For me, I'm like, fair enough, man. I haven't seen a match with a pink ball where the spinners are being this effective. So I haven't seen a match on this type of pitch. So maybe this is how the pink ball kind of turns and rips. Yes, it's a bit of the pitch, but more from my, at least from what I can tell, it's the batsman making mistakes rather than just the pitch.
I would agree with you if it was just one team, but the fact that India have just been bowled out for 145 tells me that it is also the pitch. And a Charles saying here, and he was there yesterday, and he's saying like historically day 1 to day 3 it's a batsman's paradise.
Oh yeah,
so
of course.
You're saying in India it will turn, but this specific pitch doesn't. So that's what I mean. Like India is very general. Here in the UK, you've got the same thing. Like Oval is very different to Lords. So like different stadiums play differently, and I think what's happened is they've just made it into a pitch that will play a certain way, I think. I'm just going to go on some of the comments because...
Yeah, please do.
Sartak says, Virat is an amazing ODI and Test captain, while Rohit might be a tad better than him, but Virat's captain is captain of the team in all 3 formats. Yeah, I agree. I think that's never going to change, I don't think, unless something drastic happens. Just watching now and cut away, just a point, though. Gill looks good, though. He looks pretty solid. It's not a good test if it only lasts 2 days. But it lasted only 2 days because of the batsman's incompetency and not the pitch. Okay, so I think it's a mixture of
the two. Yeah,
I think England should have known it was going to turn. Like that's just they're stupid to think it wasn't going to. So I think that definitely plays a part. But I think this test, even if they played well, because if you look at England's second innings, some of the batsmen, right, the balls they got, like they're unplayable. I'm not joking. Like genuinely, they can't do much more. So I reckon they could have got 150 plus, 150 max. 150 max, I think, and even then it's going to be over by day 3. Like you're not going to see it go any longer than that, I personally think. Anyway,
so this is a match where you have day 4 and day 5. You don't have day 1, 2, 3. That's what you're saying. This is a test match, day 4 and day 5, and that's it.
Yeah, that's basically what's happened, right? And obviously in day 5 you don't see. I don't know. I mean, it depends, but Boomer says also I think Rohit is the better captain in limited overs and Rahane is better in tests. But Virat Kohli is the kind of batsman who dislikes being relegated like that. Might cause some problems behind the scene. Yeah, I think he obviously likes being the leader. He's taken on quite well. I talked to Jamie Alter actually, ushered in. I'm sure you heard it as well, but he said that he's kind of interviewed him in different stages of his career, and he says that he might not actually go down as the best player for India, but he'll definitely, in his opinion, he'll go down as the greatest player for India. In the sense that he's taken on the role as captaincy and obviously he's performed at a certain level. And he said whether he should be captain or not at the moment is difficult, but he took them through that transitional phase and did a good job. Boomer says, hello, Ashrid, and also says, I feel like the issue is that the batsmen struggle to read the ball off the hand from the pink ball more than the red because they're not used to it. England 3 and India 2 pink ball matches so far. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah, I think that can probably play a point.
I think Boomer probably said that on my stream as well, and I was like, yeah, because it's not been played that much, right? There's 15 or 20 pink ball test matches that have happened in entirety, right? And India's played 2. This is India's 3rd, England's 4th. So obviously they're not going to be as used to it. Yeah, it is spinning like crazy. It's hilarious. I love watching this, man. I love the batsmen struggling, man. It's awesome.
I don't mind the batsmen struggling, right? Just on day 5, on day 2, I'm just like, what is going? Or day 4, even if it's a pitch, actually, even if it's a track that is known for being like Gaul is known for spinning early doors, but Ahmedabad's not. That's my issue with it. Is that the characteristics of the pitch has been changed? That's the issue I have, and I think everyone pretty much has agreed with that. It's so dusty as well, but I completely understand. And the pink ball might be a factor as well in terms of picking it from the hand. and Usher is putting his hands up, which means it's probably going to be a wicket, but or a six. But Charles Shah says exactly how many times did we see the ball pitching in line with the stance, missing the batsman, the keeper, and landing in? Yeah, ridiculous. Like he says, in first slip's hands, that two on day one and two. And again, it's turned huge. It's turning. Root has literally turned that. I'm not joking. From off stump to past,
Like slip.
Oh, ridiculous! That's actually ridiculous. Like, how can you get that amount of time on day two? Like, and if anyone wants to tell me that's easy to bat on that, feel free to. But
no,
I
not easy.
Someone
actually said, Fazan, someone actually asked me, would Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar struggle? I was like, they'd struggle, but they'd find a way on this type of pitch how to play, how to go on. That's the biggest issue I've seen. They've a lot of the batsmen have just thought defense mode or go absolutely crazy. They haven't come up with.
Oh, what a shot! Six.
Yeah,
is that six?
Yeah,
Great shot.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think the thing is you're right, Ashton. I think what's happened here though is that some of the batsmen use their feet quite well, which Shubman Gill just utilised there, hitting over long on, really fantastic shot, full face of the bat, full blooded, just well in control though, not a slog at all. Really good shot, and I think it's difficult. Obviously, that you're going to have ones that are turning past the bat, as you said, Ashton, and I don't think it's easy, but I think it's doable to get some runs. But are you going to see someone get 100 on this? Probably not. That's what I would say.
50 at best, and we saw through 50s.
Exactly. Boomer says, I'm surprised that the umpire didn't call that wide into the buys. Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Exactly. It's gone ridiculous. Boomer says, Dravid and Sachin might struggle, but I can't imagine a world in which VVS struggles against spin. Oh, do you think he's ever played on a turn like this? Maybe.
Has. 100%
Probably has. But he would have got low scores at some point, Boomer. So, but maybe he got out for the seamer, which would have been ridiculous because the seamers are doing nothing on it. But who knows? Who knows, right? And obviously, the pink ball did pretty much nothing under lights, which England thought it would do. So that was a shame.
28 wickets gone to spin in 3 innings.
That's not normal. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not normal.
Awesome. I know it's not normal. It's like England, man. The thing is, in England, you just get pace bowlers bowling for like 7-8 over spells. The ball's swinging like crazy, and then Pakistan get bowled out wide, like 59 or something. Okay,
but that's Pakistan though.
Other teams also get bowled out very cheaply in England because the ball is swinging and seaming. So to me, it's a similar kind of thing. But
actually, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Actually, I'll take back what I said. Fantastic shot, actually, just now by Rohit Sharma down the ground again. This time 4 runs, and India are going to cruise to this. But no, I completely agree with you. I think my main issue, actually, because I want to clarify, is that Ahmedabad doesn't normally play like this. That's my main issue.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my main issue. If it did, like Gaul, for example, it turns on like day 2. You might even get some turn on day 1. Like Emeraldinia for Tranki open the bowling. So I understand that. But this is just like, this is bad because obviously they've ruined the characteristics of the pitch, I think. So Tark says there are 5 great fast bowlers who are playing in the match. Jofra, Anderson, Broad, Ishan and Bumrah. Only 2 wickets to them out of 30. Yeah, so as Usher said, 28 wickets of spinners. And I don't mind it being spinner friendly, but this is carnage. But that's really well fielded though at a point there. They're 32 for naught. They are going to absolutely cruise this. They can just buy their time. It's not a very big score to get. And no worries at all for the Indian batsman. Charles says, "Is this the shortest ever Test match?" apart from ones that have been rained off, surely it must be one of them.
Definitely,
I have to look that up.
I actually did. I think the shortest ever one was like 17 overs, or something like that. But in the last like 50 years, I think this is one of the shortest Test matches ever. Definitely.
Carnage. Boomer says Indian openers are able to go on the offense right now only because of how poor the quality of spin from England have been. Yeah, I agree. I don't think. I mean, Root is not. Yeah, he got a fifer, but that's not going to happen. And it was so helpful. And then now they're just like, we're not going to. The Indian batsmen also. You've got 10 wickets in hand. They'll try and be a bit more aggressive here, and that's just. It's very easy when you're not under pressure like this. England were under pressure straight away. As soon as Kohli went first ball, that's it. Like I'm thinking they're going to collapse, and that's exactly what happened. So it's damn tough, especially in these conditions. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just upset. It's not going to go more than 2 days, which is just as a child saying, I don't remember the last time this has happened. It's just carnage.
I'll tell you this, Fazan. You know, I told you my entire plan for what I was going to do on Saturday. That has gone down the drain into the flush because there is absolutely no like.
Yeah.
It's 2 days. 2 days. I said, you know, Ginger Sports with Sohaib. So I was talking to Sohaib as well, and he's like, "Asjad bhai, it'll be all done today." I was like, "No, that is not gonna happen." And then you see what happened today. 17 wickets already in the day, right? If I'm not wrong, 17 wickets.
Yeah, 17 wickets, and a child actually said yesterday that he said that it would be good. He said that he'd actually no, what did he say? He said Root will get his record test figures. That was his prediction yesterday, and he got it right. And I kind of laughed off a little bit. I was like, yeah, he'll bowl. He might get a couple of wickets, and next thing you know, he gets a five for it. I'm like, and a child was like, yeah, I think I said that yesterday. I was like, yeah, you did. Well done. Boomer says here they are not going to wait around for them to bowl the perfect ball. Yeah, they won't, and they don't need to either. In just reviewing a decision here.
Fazan, I'm just going to bounce for a little while, but I'll come back, and maybe the match is done by then. But thank you, everyone. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to Quality Shot if you haven't done so already. And just like all the other videos as well, there's a really nice interview with Jamie Alder that Fazan did last week. It's really insightful, and he gives a lot of interesting points. And let's make that video get to 1,000 views. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Thank you. Banjo Gamer says, "Oh, nice to see Ashad here and hello, Quality Shot." Are you saying Quality Shot because Faizan Khan's not here, who normally comes in? So Dark says, "I wonder how bored the fast bowlers would be at the boundary, as the balls didn't even reach the rope." I know. It's just, I feel bad for them. They may as well not be part of the match. They're just showing the review here now. This umpire's call, and it's missing. No shot was played, but it's missing. So Joe Root, unfortunately, doesn't get anything. Also, can you guys tell me, right, what the heck is going on? Like, how was the ball bouncing that high over the stumps? Is DRS correct? Can anyone explain to me whether you think DRS is correct here? Because I think a couple of occasions it hasn't been. It doesn't look right, but I don't know. And Metro Game says, "I'm going to stick to Quality Shot." Anyway, you are quality. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And so Tark says, "I haven't seen him on the television screen." Yeah. I mean, Archer had that fantastic save in the field, which was amazing. And since then, I don't think I've ever seen him. Guys, please can you make sure that you do like this video if you haven't already as well, and please subscribe. I really appreciate your support. I think most of you have already, but you know, I should say it now and then to make sure that people have. I really do appreciate it though. Magical Gamer says, "Yeah, exactly. Even Archer. Yep. Rendezvous. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Fazan, bro. I'm excited for Canelo match. Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm going to be doing a watch along for that on Saturday. If anyone in here is interested in boxing apart from Rendezvous and me, then please tune in for that. And what do you think of this match so far, Rendezvous? And please like and also subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. Magical Game, I'm going yeah. Magical Game says, "I don't know if it's weird. The DRS does the pink ball bounce more. I think the pink ball genuinely bounces a bit more. It's a bit harder as well. I played with pink balls before in T20s for my local club. I'm assuming it does a similar thing. But the SCG one, I don't think deteriorates as much. It doesn't give you as much kind of shine on the ball initially, anyway. And under lights, it pretty much did nothing. I mean, Anderson bowled quite well. He was miserly, but was he really effective? And did he get wickets? Not really. So, well, no, he didn't get any. So, I think that says it all. And they haven't used him at all here. So, reverse swing is not a factor. It's just one-dimensional, which is get your spinners on, get Root on, because you're only playing one spinner and hope for the best. But only 14 runs are needed. I think this is going to be a 10-wicket victory, and it's going to be absolute carnage. Metro Gamer says here the last ball at 8.2 didn't bounce at all. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's difficult. It's difficult to say because maybe it is, maybe it's not. But in my opinion, I think some of the decisions have been pretty bad. One decision, sorry, the DRS ball tracking looks wrong. It doesn't look correct. Even like Stokes's one, I actually thought he should have reviewed it, and I had a feeling it was sliding down. And the next thing you know, it's umpire's call. I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. But there's been some which, even like India, they appealed for quite a few. And next thing you know, what happens? Just carnage, absolute carnage. Ashwin, AXAR Patel, they bowled a lot of deliveries, which I thought were out. They were plumb LBW, and next thing you know, they're going over the wickets, and I'm like, what? Maybe it does bounce slightly more, but I don't think it bounces much as usual. Rendezvous says, Canelo will win this match. It's one side. Yeah, probably. But please do tune. I'll be doing the undercard as well for that. Magical Gamer, I wanted to see another 36. Well, not today. Yeah, it's not going to be today. Well, it's 35 for naught, so who knows? But you're going to have to see something that's very, very special. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's see what Charles says here. The new stadium has 11 strips of wicket, all different. What it means is there won't be a particular type of Ahmedabad wicket anymore. Rather, you can have any. I like new technology, but it's kind of sad too. Yeah, I agree. I think stadiums need to have character. I don't know if I agree with this. This pictures having strips that play so differently, or stadiums having strips that play so differently. It doesn't sit right with me because you lose the character of that stadium. Like for example, you'll go to a stadium and it will be known for being okay. Once it gets to day 3, day 4, the spinners are going to come on. Day 1, day 2, for example, the seamers are going to have, they're going to have a lot of joy, or it's going to be flat the first couple of days. So I don't know. It's just it's kind of that's a good shot from Rohit Sharma. Pings that straight to it's 4 runs. He should have fielded that. That's poor. Not happy with that at all. 39 for naught. Poor fielding. Good shot though. Good little slog sweep there from Rohit Sharma as well. And he's looking very comfortable, as is as a Shubman Gill. Who is that? I think it's Anderson potentially. But yeah, what do you guys think of stadiums having wickets that play completely differently? I would like it to be a case of fantastic shot again from Rohit Sharma with the back foot this time, just punching that through the covers. Pure time from Rohit Sharma, and he's 19 or 23, and this game is pretty much done and dusted unless we're going to see something very, very special, as I said. Which, I mean, it would be like the best comeback ever from England if this was to happen, which I doubt is ever going to happen. Let's see. Natural Gamer says, well, just a small suggestion. If you could, on your stream, maybe if you could show the quick info scores so we know the batsman's score as well. I can tell you, or what I'll start doing is, I'll try and do it from the next stream. Natural Gamer, I'll put at the bottom of the ticker. I can put the batsman scores. But I can tell you now, 19 of 23, 15 of 21 for Gill, and Rohit Sharma was 19 of 23, as I said. 43 for naught. So Tark says, will India get extra points if they finish with 10 wickets in hand? I don't think they do. It's not like the county championship. So Tark says, for the World Test Championship, no, I don't think so. And Magic says, yeah, I don't think so, mate. Unfortunately, no. And a Rendezvous says, oh, hold on 1 second. Rohit Sharma smashes this over Cal corner for 6, and that is the match. What a shot to end it. I think we've got a couple of comments here saying exactly the same thing. That's a fantastic shot. Game, set, and match. I think they're just checking whether it's... Well, I don't think they have to check anything. They need to check if it's a no ball. It's game over. What a fantastic shot from Rohit Sharma. I'm just going to update the banner as well, guys. Let's have a look. India win by 10 wickets. I mean, that's just... They've thrashed England once again. That's 2 matches in a row. Just ridiculous stuff, right? Absolutely ridiculous stuff. Really, really good. Rendezvous says here... I'll tell you that. I'll come to that question in a second. I'll comment. India win in style. Yeah, they did. They won in style. Fantastic stuff from England. Well, from England, not from England. England rubbish. From India, even India, fantastic stuff from India. I mean, what an incredible performance. And I thought they did a really, really good job, to be honest with you. And look, the pitch is the pitch, and they utilised the best of their ability, I think, and that's all you can do. It was difficult for them whilst batting as well, but they made the most out of it and bowled. I think that second innings from England, bowling out for 81, was really pivotal. And Akshar Patel, I think, will definitely get man of the match. He has to. And he says, India winning style. Yep. Magical Game Alone. I'm watching the match right now. I meant so a person who isn't watching it will find it useful. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll either put it on a ticker or I'll say it as well, like how much each player's on, or of how many balls, etc. as well. I think that might be good. Charles says they literally show in the PowerPoint presentation in front of the president of India that they can have a similar pitch like Perth or Birmingham or Gaul. I'm like, why? That's so dumb. What's the point of that? But the point is that if you want a pitch like that, then go to Perth, go to Birmingham, or go to Gaul. Why do you need to have like? I think it's good. I'll tell you what. I think it's good potentially, like when you're coming up in our younger age groups, to make sure that you can play on those pitches. But then, similarly, I'm like, why not just go on tour and do it? And then also, when you get to international level, you want to be unique. If you have a pitch like Birmingham or Perth, there's already pitches like that. So it makes no sense, right? Natural Gamer says, who are you supporting? I was supporting no one really. I wanted England to win because I guessed 2-2 in this series, and I'm from the UK, so I should probably support them. But I wanted them to win so that it would go to the final test, and I was assuming that India were going to win the final test, definitely. Now I think it's going to be 3-1. I don't see England coming up with the goods in the final test match, so it's going to be really difficult for them, that's for sure. Much Game, if you don't mind, could you please tell me the software you use to stream and how do you put up the scores? So it is a StreamYard, and it's just a ticker, which is a banner that I have to type up myself, and then it comes up on the screen. I wanted England to win because of the World Test Championship. Yeah. So it says India qualifies for the World Test Championship final. No, they don't. Not yet. As long as if England win the next Test match, which is very unlikely, but if they do, then Australia will be in the final. But if India win the next one, which looks very likely, then yeah, they'll be through. If it's 2-1, I think they're through as well. If it's a draw or a win to India through to the World Test Championship final. However, if not, then if England end up winning, which looks very unlikely given what's just happened in the last two matches, then Australia will be through, which would be very, very surprising, I would say, personally. Metro Gamer says redemption for New Zealand. Well, New Zealand already through, right? They're in the final, so and they'll be at Lords. But yeah, I think New Zealand would have liked to have played England potentially. Metro Gamer says, what happens if England win the last test? So if England win the last test, then Australia go through. England cannot qualify now. So Metro Gamer says, could they qualify or not? No, they can't. They need to either win this series 2-1 or 3-1, or basically by winning margin. They're not going to be able to. So the only thing that they can do, which would probably be bittersweet, is if they win the next one, draw this series, they put through their old mates Australia into the final, which probably again is like a lose-lose situation for them because they absolutely hate Australia, don't they? But well, there's a massive rivalry there. Let's say that. India win though by 10 wickets, and they lead the series 2-1. Guys, I mean, just absolute carnage, wasn't it? Absolute carnage. And let me know what you guys think of, first of all, the test match. And Akshar Patel, is Akshar Patel better than Jadeja? Please can you guys tell me? Who do you think should be playing? I want to put you guys on the spot. Who's better, Akshar Patel or Jadeja? When Jadeja's fit, who should be playing? Let me know. Magical Gamer says, then I want England to win the last one, then Australia versus New Zealand. Interesting. Okay, so no India in the final then for Magical Gamer anyway, but I doubt, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be very unlikely. It would be good for me because I predicted 2-2, but I don't think so. Guys, as well, please do remember to make sure that you do like this video and do subscribe if you haven't already. I think pretty much everyone in the chat has, so I really do appreciate it. And also share it with I'm going to go off on one, with your family, so with your husbands, with your wives, with your partners, with your siblings, with your friends, with your cousins, everyone. You know what I'm talking about. Marshall Game says Akshar Patel and Jadeja. No, that's a cop-out. You have to choose one of the two. Akshar Patel or Jadeja. Cash says, do you think India will go for a draw in the next test and make a road as a pitch to get their batsmen's averages up? You know what? They probably could. That's the thing. They probably could, couldn't they? I think England have got no chance in the next test match, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. The only way that they could win the test match, for me, you need like another route double 100, which it's not out of the realms of possibility, but it depends what pitch they put on. I reckon it's going to be, I think it'll be similar. to this. I think it's going to be similar to this pitch, but obviously I think they'll want it to last longer than 2 days. So I'd assume it'll give a little bit more to the seamers, you'd hope, at least on day one, and then I'm looking at maybe a 4-day test match. I don't know if it'll go to 5, but as Cash said, maybe they'll make it into a road so that, it's a high-scoring match. Who knows? I think either way, though, India really here on the driving seat in this series, and England are going to have to really pick themselves up and dust themselves off because they've been absolutely battered in this test match and the last test match. They're just interviewing Ravi Ashwin as well, who had a fantastic game. But Akshar Patel, for me, is a pick'em. 11 wickets for him in his home, his home stadium, his home ground, doing a fantastic job, I thought. And he looks really good. And Magical Gamer is copping out. He says, that's a very difficult question. So I asked, guys, for anyone who doesn't know, who would you guys pick when Jadeja's fit? Would it be Akshar Patel or Jadeja? And if you're going to play both, then where do you, who do you take out? I know it's a very difficult question. That's why I'm asking it. I wouldn't ask it, would I, Magical Gamer? I wouldn't ask it. Magical Gamer says, well, it depends on how well he will perform when the border's not 10 in Australia and England. Then if Jadeja comes in handy, since he is quicker through the air and also attacking with the bat. Okay, that's a very interesting answer. Okay, I like that. Akshar Patel can bat, though. He can bat. I've seen it. He's got a decent average as well. But yeah, interesting. And Charles says he... Oh god, give me a second. If it's the same pitch, I play Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Jadeja, Kuldeep, Chahar, drop Bumrah, Ishant Shami, pun intended. Oh man, You know what? That's I was actually thinking that. I was thinking that today. I was like, England should have just played. They should have chopped all their seamers and just played like Leach, Best, and then the 3 reserve spinners. It doesn't matter. Just play them. Mason Crane, Matt Parkinson, and Ahmed Verdi. Just play all of them. It may as well have. Like that's the kind of pitch it was. Well, I say unfortunately. I don't mind that type of pitch on like a day 4, day 5, even a day 3 if that's the pitch characteristics. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. The Tuck says Jadeja is more experienced and Akshar is really talented. He has got 16 wickets in 3 innings, but I think it's too soon to replace Jadeja. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I kind of agree with you, but can he really drop someone? Say Akshar Patel, right? He goes on this amazing run for the next few matches. Is Jadeja going to be fit for the next test match? Does anyone know? Say Akshar Patel takes another 11 wickets or 10 wickets in the next test match, and it's not spinning that much. Are they going to drop him? Surely they can't drop him then. They have to say, well, we'll give you a couple more. Or do they say, actually, no, Jadeja's coming back, sorry? Because they did a similar thing with the Pacers, right, where Siraj did really well, and they said, well, he did really well in Australia, but now we're back home, everyone's fit. So in comes Ishant Sharma, who obviously is your pick'em. I guess it's similar with Broad and Anderson, and India have got Ishant Sharma, Bumrah, and they're always going to be regulars. I wonder if Jadeja is the same as well, I guess. Cash says, if pitches like today, only one seamer and all spinners. Yeah, exactly. But what if it wasn't? If you had to choose between Jadeja and Akshar Patel, Cash, let me know, who would you pick? Magical Gamer says, Love Miles. No way India would play that team, man. I think he's talking about a Charles team of full spinners. He says, I know Akshar can bat, but Jadeja is more overseas suited. Okay, interesting. See, Magical Gamer's going around the question. He's saying, well, it's a question that selectors will have to answer. That's a very diplomatic answer, Magical Gamer. But I want to know what your opinions are. If you were the Indian selectors, who would you pick? Who would you pick is the question. Usher has just joined us again for Cricket Frost 2.0. Absolute carnage. And as you can tell, he's a pro-India fan. He's completely anti-England and pro-India. So mix that together, and he is absolutely fanatical about India winning this series.
Yeah, I'm so happy about it, honestly. Like, this is the thing. If we put everything aside, did you ever think you'd watch a test match between India and England finish in 5.5 sessions?
No, and there's a reason for that, because I'd never wanted that to happen. That's why.
That is madness.
That's why.
I'm just mind blown. England genuinely played their best team, barring Moeen Ali not being there. But everything else, this is England's probably best side, right? and they've gotten absolutely destroyed. This wasn't a match for batting whatsoever. It was a match of spin against spin, and in the end, I don't know what happened to the Indian batsmen, but they just came out swinging and they won very, very quickly. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, England spinners in general, their full strength spinners against India's full strength spinners, it's a golfing class.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that if India had won by 10 wickets on day 4 or even 8 wickets, and because the spinners were just too much, then that makes sense. I just think it's a shame. It's a shame we don't get to see more cricket. Everyone loves cricket, and I think personally they should play 3 2020s for all those people who bought tickets for day 3, 4, and 5 who are going to lose money. They should put 3 T20s on, and there can be friendlies even, and they should do that, but they won't do that. But they should. Just to go to some of the questions as well before I do. What I was saying to guys, and I don't know about you, Ashjid, is if Akshar Patel has a fantastic next Test match, and say he gets 10 wickets, right? Again, do they drop him for Jadeja, or do they play Akshar Patel? While you're thinking about it, I'm just gonna read this comment and then let me know. It says you have to rotate the bowlers. Then similar to England, I wouldn't bench anyone. Rather keep rotating all 3. So I think he means Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar Patel. Healthy competition would be good. I agree with you to a degree, Achol, but I don't think India have as many tests as England. I think they've got quite a few, but England have got 17, which is probably why they're having to rotate. But you know what? These guys are going around the question. They're being very diplomatic, and I don't want that. I want you guys to give me straight answers and just tell me who's going to be better. But they're being very kind to all bowlers. So if you had to pick one, say you're playing the World Test Championship final, and you don't know what conditions it's going to be, who do you pick? But Ashwin, what do you think? Jadeja. Okay, cool. I like that. There you go, straight into the point. I like it. I don't think Jadeja will be played in the next Test. Jadeja will come back for the T20. Says Sartak.
Yeah. He's still injured.
He's still injured, right? Yeah. And to be fair, in a way, it's a good excuse to say, well, you're just recovering, and Akshar Patel can just keep on bowling. And we've got Cash coming on as well, so we've got a full house. Magical Gamer says, all depends on how Akshar performs in the next couple of matches. Yeah, I agree. And in overseas conditions, yeah. Magical Gamer says, I agree with Achal. Cash, what's your take on this absolute carnage and probably one of the shortest Test match I've ever seen in my life?
It's look, it's interesting. I gave India benefit of the doubt in the last Test. I said, we need to get England needs to apply themselves more. We need to see better batting and so on. This time around, I don't agree at all. The pitch was terrible. It wasn't a Test match pitch at all. So I'm just personally, I was a bit disappointed with the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Ashwin is of a slightly different opinion. I'm kind of similar to you, I think, in a sense that, just very briefly, because I think a lot of the guys have already heard it, that if Ahmedabad kind of played like this from day one, I'd be happy with it. But the characteristics of the pitch has been changed quite a bit. And also, it's not a Test match pitch, is it? Because if it's lasting 2 days, and I think, as Usher rightly said, some England batsmen didn't apply themselves that well, as did some of the Indian batsmen. But I think even if they had played to the best of their ability, every single batsman, I think only seeing a 3-day Test match maximum, maybe, I would say potentially. And that's not really good enough, because you need to have a pitch that has the potential to take you to 5 days. And that's when everyone's playing their best. Personally, anyway, that's my take on it. And Charles says here, so we were just asking about who would you pick out of, if Akshar Patel plays so well like he's playing at the moment, do you pick him or do you pick Ravi Jadeja? And what do you think about that, Cash? Who would you pick?
Who would I pick? I'm not sure. Look, you can't pick them both in most games, let's be honest. So you would have to stick with Jadeja, just because he hasn't done anything wrong. He's still like one of the great, he's definitely in the top kind of 10 all-rounders, possibly top 5 all-rounders, just on his record currently. So it's very hard to say, look, Akshar's come in, he's played 2 games, played really well, but on pitches which are really convenient for his kind of bowling. So look, I would pick Jadeja probably in most situations.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Charles says here, also add Kuldeep and Sundar to the list too. All 5 have similar characteristics. Spinners who can bat. Kuldeep gets a bonus point for being a leggy, even if the worst batsman of the lot. Problem plenty, which is a good thing, right? That they've got. I think I was talking to Jamie when I was talking to Jamie, and he said to me, "There's an argument to say that maybe the spinners are lacking a little bit in India." And I said, to be fair, I think it's more a case of that. And he agreed that it's a golden generation of pace bowling. Clearly, here for India, the best that they've ever had, and I think their spin options are still there. It's just the seam bowling's come up so much that it's surprising you don't normally have that. India's team is normally characteristically known for having fantastic spinners and one or two very good seamers, but not the type that they've got at the moment. So really impressive. And I'm just going to ask you, Cash, as well, before I go on to the next question. You, Ashad, as well. Do you see England having any chance of getting back into this game, into this series in the next Test match? And while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to answer or look at one of the comments. So Charles Shaw says, I picked Jadeja, so like you, Cash, and I think Usher said the same thing. Garden fielder, great batsman, proper match winner. He has the ability to block and end bowling and bowl on a spot consistently. Yeah, I agree. What do you guys think? Do England have any chance in the next Test match?
It depends on what the pitch is going to be. Like, what kind of pitch does this team want to engineer? So, I asked the question in the chat. Do you think that they'll just make a road? And I was saying that slightly facetiously, but it's true. The problem with doing another Dust Bowl is it does bring England into the game. Like if a few batsmen put together, a few batsmen do a Zach Crawley, a few of them get 50s, you're on 250, right? And then we saw the Indian batsmen had difficulty, so I'm not sure they would go for a Dust Bowl again. A Dust Bowl, sorry. So if they went for a road, then maybe I don't know. In either case, I don't know, man. England's batsmen have got a lot of looking at themselves to do.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Ashad?
I think England don't care about this series. I'm telling you now, they don't care. They have 17 Test matches. They have the Ashes. They have T20 World Cup. They don't care whatsoever about winning this Test series. Not anymore. They've lost this match, right? They're not getting to the World Test Championship. They're not going to want Australia to get to the final, right? So they're not going to try and fight for that. So they're happy just drawing the match, they're happy losing or drawing the match because that means Australia can't get through. So England can bounce back, but I agree with Cash. I agree with Cash that it is. It depends on the pitch. Definitely depends on the pitch. If it's a pitch similar to this one, then probably India wins. If it's similar to the first match pitch, then it becomes interesting because it's hard to say who's actually going to get it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be difficult. It's interesting you said, I think England will want to win it, but yeah, I think it'll be bittersweet if they win it because they'll send Australia through to the final, I think. I can't imagine any team not wanting to win that match, but in saying that, I think England have to dust themselves off and to go again after not just being thrashed once, but twice in the manner they've been thrashed in, after a very good start to the series. They're going to look at this and think, what we're going to do. And Root hasn't scored runs now for 2 matches, and he's not in bad form. It's just that happens. Like he scored so many runs at the start, but no one else is really getting any runs. So the batting, I think, is the biggest issue. And then this obviously, I think, compounded that. One thing I wanted to talk about actually is Johnny Bairstow. Should he be in a side? Does someone want to explain?
3 balls in the entire match, and he got out all 3 times, right? That's the funny thing. Okay, first ball out to Axar Patel, second ball out, but then reviewed or whatever, and then he's out the next one again. Like I was the guy who said to you, Fazan, I was like, Johnny Bairstow needs to come into the side. He needs to bat at number 3 because Dal Lawrence isn't doing anything. Dude, Johnny Bairstow did absolutely nothing either. So I have no idea who else England doesn't have an opener, right? Rory Burns has had a terrible form, so they're not going to put him back, right? Zach Crawley is good at 3. And he batted well in the first inning, so can't really say, oh, he needs to be dropped or anything. So Johnny Bairstow is going to play the next game because he rested 2 Test matches. That's what I think. But yeah, he's not. We talked to, what was it, the cricket pod, Fazan, didn't we? And we were kind of ripping on Johnny Bairstow a bit. When he has something to prove, he performs really well. He has loads to prove right now. Let's see how he does in the next match because I think he will definitely play because England have to play are going to play him. They're not going to do a Moeen Ali to him because he's Johnny Bairstow.
Yeah, and England and Johnny Bairstow is the biggest love affair around, let's be honest. In terms
If I
of
can
India,
jump in,
though,
hold on.
go on.
If I can quickly jump in, that's why I think that the thing about Bairstow and Crawley to a lesser extent, but Sibley, even Folkes and Pope, they've got something to prove, and that's why I think that I don't agree with you, Astra, that they're not going to try and win it. Obviously, people like Root and Stokes, they don't have anything really to prove. They're always going to be in the team, but I do. There's players fighting for position. This might be Bairstow's one of his only shots. His last shot. This might be it. And he was brought into the team to take on Ashwin, and he didn't even get he didn't even get a ball from him.
That's so true, actually. That's so true. Oh man, just absolute carnage. And you know what? Are you guys surprised that the pink ball did nothing under lights? Because there was um, this whole thing around the test match that everyone was like Anderson and Broad under the lights with the pink ball. They're going to do fantastically well. Going to get wickets. And I said, look, you know, I think I thought it was still going to be flat. I had a feeling it was going to spin like this, not as much as it did, but I thought it would be spinner friendly. But I just thought under the lights with the pink ball, you might have a little bit, maybe like a half an hour session where, or part of a session, anyways, that you'd have the pink ball taking effect, but it literally had no effect whatsoever. I just thought it did hardly anything under the lights, and it was almost like it was almost just flat. And the pink ball, maybe it's the SEG ball as well. I don't think it does as much as the Kookaburra and the jute ball, like through the air in terms of from a seam point of view. What did you guys think?
I'm just gonna quickly say something because I do have to go after this, Fazan. So from what I heard James Anderson talk about earlier before the match, he said the SG ball is similar to the Duke's ball. However, the pink one doesn't seem to show any signs that it will reverse, right? Yes, they were using a new ball. So ideally, the thought process was, oh yeah, this is going to do a bit. It did a bit. I can't say that it didn't do a bit, but only for like 5-6 overs, right? After those 5-6 overs, it was gun barrel straight. And that's why Jofra Archer actually got a wicket, because he's quick, right? And he balled that. Was it a bouncer to Shubman Gill? I can't remember. But I think Shubman Gill. Yeah. So the only Englishman to get a wicket, a fast bowler to get a wicket, right, was Jofra Archer. And that was because of pace, not because of swing. Need Denley back at 3.
First of all, Jimmy231, thank you very much for joining. Please do like this and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. This comment is quality. Need Denley back at 3. Imagine his leggies on these tracks. And all I'm going to say is that is so true. He would have literally done so well.
He's in the PSL. He can't be here right now. But when he's done with the PSL, I'm sure he would love to be part of the English squad.
Is he part of? I don't think he's part of the limited over squad either, is he? I think he's been dropped. No. But he was a very good stopgap for England. I think he really shored up the number 3 spot. And arguably, people might say, well, why is he not at 3 still? Because they don't really have a 3. But yeah, that's a discussion for another time. But thank you for your comment. Thanks for joining, Jimmy, as well. What do you think, Cash, about the pink ball?
I don't know. I guess we talked about it a bit too much. Like coming into the tour, that was the one match we thought maybe England would have a shot at, just because we thought it would move around. It didn't. I guess the thing was the spin counteracted it. The spin was doing so much more that I didn't even notice the pink ball, to be honest. Like it didn't seem to be interesting to do anything. And England, I don't know, there's 2 sides to it. One is they made the wrong selection, or 2 is they didn't have anyone else to turn to. Both things kind of came up. Like, obviously, they didn't know it was going to spin that much, in which case they would have thrown in Bess, and they would have thrown in probably a couple of other people we were talking about. But they knew it was going to spin a bit, but they thought that would be counteracted by the fact that it would seem a bit more. And the pink ball didn't seem to do nearly enough.
Yeah, I agree. And didn't reverse at all. No reverse swing. It was literally just spinner's paradise. And I think it was a Charles said actually that the ball seemed to, maybe they were struggling to pick the pink ball out of the hand just because it's a pink ball and they're not used to playing with the pink ball. You think that could have been a factor as well?
I don't know what in terms of picking the spin. Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah, like picking whether it's going to be your ordinary delivery that's just going to turn, your stock delivery, or whether it's going to be the one that's going to come lead with the arm, or kind of other variations.
Yeah. I think that was probably. I don't know if it was the pink ball or they're just not used to it. Maybe maybe it was the pink ball. But certainly they didn't have a clue which one was going to spin and which one wasn't. Like specifically the England batsmen, and you could see that in terms of a lot of the wickets they got out to were straight balls. They were the ones that actually didn't spin, the ones that were skidding on. And there was a bit of debate. I think I was listening to the Cricket Social on BBC, and they were talking about is Ashwin in particular, is he doing that on purpose? Is he, or is it just by accident? And they probably thought he's doing it on purpose. That he knows that if you get it on the shiny side and you cut it under, that it's going to skid versus the ripper. So
Yeah.
like the England batsman just didn't have a clue.
Yeah, agreed. Young Lampers says that India should go to a green top in England with 4 spinners and complain about the pitch. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the selection's poor. I agree. And to be fair, like I think when I talk about the pitch, and I think Cash has said the same thing, I don't really have an issue with India giving themselves an advantage. They should. And my issue is that it's not, and it's not, if England had won it in 2 days, I would have said exactly the same thing. It's just not a test match pitch, is it? Unfortunately, you want a test match where the pitch is, a track which is going to last you 5 days. And even India struggled. And considering how good they are, right? How good are they playing spin normally, the Indian batsmen? And to get bowled out for the way they did, I think it shows that it was not just the England batsmen, it was the pitch. Yes, the application from some were poor, but some of the deliveries that the England batsmen got and Indian batsmen were unplayable, literally unplayable. Like you'll never see that. I think that much turn on a day 2 pitch, you don't see it anywhere really, apart from maybe someone like Gaul. And Ahmedabad's not known for this. So I just think do we want to see a test match where it only lasts 3 days maximum, potentially, if everyone's playing at their very best batting wise? Probably not. You want to see a 4 or 5 day match. And I think that's more what people complain about. If people complain about the fact that England, that's the reason England lost, it's not. I think the reason why England lost is just because they were the worst team on the day, because both teams had to use the pitch. I just think it's not ideal in terms of a showing for Test cricket, I would say. So Tark says, Virat said the post-match is bizarre that 21 wickets out of 30 were off a straight ball. Yeah, and I think so, Tark, maybe that is to do with the pink ball, potentially, that they're not picking it at all and they're thinking it's going to turn. They're playing for turn, and Cash said this earlier in actually our group chat, that they might be playing for turn. They're not. It's obviously not going to turn. It's coming straight on, leading with the arm, especially someone like Axar Patel and Jack Leach. They got a lot of wickets like that, LBW or bowled. And Ashwin got a couple as well like that. So, yeah, it is bizarre a little bit. But I just think because there's so much turn on the pitch as well, that's always in the back of your head. And then when the straight one does come, it really is a surprise because the deviation differences is huge compared to what it normally be. And so you can't get away with outside edging it or inside edging it. Like, it's just you missed it by a mile. Young Lumpur says, I agree that the pitch isn't ideal, but I think England made it look worse than it was. Yeah, that's fine. India struggled because they tried to attack route stupidly. Second innings, to be fair, they never looked in trouble. Yeah, but I think what I would say, and Cash as well, let me know what you think. I think the second innings, you're chasing 49. There's no real chance that you're going to get bowled at 49. And as soon as they hit, I think, one boundary, there was one loose ball from Jack Leach, which was a full toss. That then gave them the confidence, and that's it. I just think it's very different. Chasing 49, the pressure is a lot less. Mentally as well, you're more likely to just be cautious and pick and choose. And I think the confidence was there, and they're going to win the game, and that makes a big difference mentality-wise. I think personally. What do you think, Cash?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think like it was lost in the first innings for England. They just didn't get enough runs. Even though it was spinning so much, they could have made it like Crawley showed you how to play on that pitch. You take it to them, you get your boundaries, you do it relatively quickly. And so many players got scared. They played within themselves. They played stupid shots. They were following the ball. They were following the spin, sorry, and not playing the straight one in particular. So like, look, if England had got 200, say, even a 180, they would have been in the game in a lot bigger way. So look, I don't see I don't see the fact is the Indian batsmen did have problems with it. Okay, they were trying to attack Root, but Root was spinning it like all over the place. Like he was doing some absolute
He was like
rippers.
Murali.
Yeah, what someone was calling it Rootalitharan. or Murali Root.
Ridiculous. I mean, the fact that Root got his record test figures, I think, kind of says it all. Really, I think, doesn't it? And it just shows that Root opened the bowling with Leach, and that shows the pitch it was. And again, I don't mind it being that type of pitch, but it can't be turning that much that then you can end up getting bowled out for flipping. Yeah, in 2 days it's just carnage. And so Tark says so many records for this match. Yeah, so many. He says AXAR is the first bowler to get 11 wickets in a day-night match. Wow, that shows. And Ishan is playing his 100th test. Yeah, and Ashwin got his 400th wicket as well. So that's another record. Guys in the chat as well, thank you very much for joining. And yes, I just said it. Please do make sure that you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I know most of you have, so I appreciate it. Ashwin, I think he's the second fastest to 400 wickets. Murali did it in 72 games, and Ashwin's done it in 77. I mean, how good is he, Cash? Just a few words.
It's incredible because the thing about we're talking about a golden generation of seam bowlers that he's playing with, and yet he's the one who's kind of holding up his end and getting a lot of the scalps within that. So you have to give him credit. You have to give him a lot of credit. He can bowl in lots of different conditions. He can bowl abroad. That's a really big thing. He obviously has good help, good partnership from Jadeja as well. They're a very tight unit. They're very accurate, I feel. And look, he gets wickets, and I would say he's definitely the best test spinner currently, and he must be up there in terms of one of the best bowlers at the moment, just in general.
Yeah, best test spinner, one of the best bowlers around, 100%. And so Tark says England with the lowest total in tests against India. Wow, really? Okay, that's actually quite surprising. I thought it would have been lower than that because it was 80 odd, wasn't it? So, yeah, 81. I mean, that's very low, but I mean, considering some of the totals we've seen as of late as well, like it's not that surprising. Sometimes you just have, you have an innings where everything just goes wrong. But this one, I think, yeah, is partly with the pitch as well. Guys, as well in the chat, let me know, like, do you think are India in trouble at all of losing that final test match? I mean, surely not. Surely they're going to go on to win it. And if they do, then you guys will book us a spot in the final with New Zealand in the World Test Championship final in Lords, which will be an interesting one. Otherwise, if it's drawn, India still go through, and if England win, Australia will go through. But England have no chance of getting through. Their chances died with this match, unfortunately, for them. Yeah, I think Root was an interesting one. How do you think Leach bowled in pretty helpful conditions? Cash, how do you think?
Yeah. I mean, he bowled well. Like as we said, the conditions were good. He seems to be getting more accurate. I feel quite happy for the guy in some respects because obviously last season or last year he didn't play at all and he was in the bubble the whole time. So it's kind of good he's getting his moment. I think he's cementing this place as a frontline spinner as well. I think we're going to see him in English conditions as well. So like he's done his bit. He's done enough.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in front of best in the pecking order for sure. I don't know the whole Moyne situation. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, he played quite well. Whether they play him in English conditions, I don't know. But Jack Leach obviously has definitely staking a claim for sure, and potentially, as it stands anyway, he probably is, as you said, the frontline spinner. So he's learning, I think, and he's developing every game, every series, which is good to see. I wonder how old is he actually? I don't think he's too old. I think he's 30, 29. Yeah, so he's got, he's got quite a few more years left, I would say, as a spinner. So interesting to see how much more he can improve because, yeah, I think he's definitely not still the standard they would like him to be, but he's getting there. I think is the thing to say.
Yeah, and I feel like in England in particular, it's really easy for a lot of people to just criticize a spinner. There's usually only one. They often get a really hard time of it in English conditions. A lot of people obviously do a bit of part-time spins. They think they know what they're talking about. Do you know what I mean? Like people think, oh, because Root can do a bit, then it's not that big a deal, is it? Well, it's like it's a different kettle of fish to hold up an end for 40 overs a day. So I feel like there's extra scrutiny on them, and obviously with Leach, you can tell he can feel it the way that he got pasted by Pant, and he said it was like the worst day of his life or something.
Yeah, he said like
Um,
he said like, oh, I was thinking about retiring after that, and I think so he's someone who clearly is a confidence player, but I think he's definitely improving his mentality and his fortitude, and he's being more resilient. I think you can see that because when he gets hit now, I think as a spinner as well, like that happens, it will happen, and I think he'll know that, and obviously he got slapped quite a bit in that over, but he recovered from it quite well. This is an interesting one. Cryptic RH17 says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. He says, worst test match ever. From an Indian point of view, no, but as a spectacle, what do you think, Cash?
the question is it worse? And is it worse than, for instance, a pitch where each team gets like 500, and then you end up with a draw? Like that's if you want to look at the balance, because we've seen in the past games like that. One team gets 600, the next team gets 400, then you're into day 4 and you're obviously not going to finish the game. Is it worse than that? It probably is, because you don't. I don't know. I feel like if you're spin,
I feel like because you get less cricket in, right? It must
yeah,
be. I
like
don't know.
I was even like hearing, even my mum was saying like, what is going on? Like she never really messaged about cricket, and she was just like, what is this? This is like cricket in fast forward. This isn't what she tuned in for, right? And I feel like a lot of people are going to be like that. Obviously, in England, we've got it on Channel 4. First time Test cricket's been on free to air for 15 years. Speak to our man Venu about that. But like a lot of people will be looking forward to the weekend. I know people are looking forward to spending the whole weekend in
I was
lockdown.
I was looking forward to do a stream with you guys on it. That's definitely not going to happen now.
Yeah. Like, even if that just meant watching Virat Kohli bat all day, make 200, I don't mind. Or watching Joe Root bat all day making 200, I don't mind. And then, watching all the strategizing from the bowlers and this, that, and the other. So I guess like a lot of Test cricket fans prefer it to go to 5 days. We prefer it to be more attritional, slower paced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's not really attritional though. I think you're right, 100%. Because 5-day cricket is, I guess, attritional is the right word, but in a way, the pace of a 5-day test match is always going to be the right pace. Does that make sense? Because obviously it's lasted those 5 days. But
Yeah.
it's interesting you said about people batting, getting 200, etc. But I think if you look at the best test matches recently, as of late, India's win at the Gabba, right? What was that, day 5? And the heroics there. Carl Myers and West Indies against Bangladesh in the last day of that test match, the first one, again on day 5, right? He hit that fantastic 200 and they chased 395. And I think that's kind of what you want to see, or see a team get close and then get bowled out. But you don't want to see this, I think. There's 3 days where people have bought tickets and they're not going to get their money back, which is just a shocker as well. People's hard-earned money, which is everyone's in different financial situations, so I feel bad for the match. I really do. Cryptic RH 17 says, "Will England purposely lose the next test so New Zealand are in the final, or win so that Australia are in the final?" So Cryptic, New Zealand are already through to the final. It's between India and Australia now. If India win the next test match or draw it, then India will be through and they'll face New Zealand. If England win it, then Australia will go through. I don't think they're going to purposely lose it. I think they're just going to, they're going to do their best. I doubt they're going to purposely lose a test match, even if it does mean Australia go through. But yeah, in terms of the worst test match ever, I don't know if it's the worst one, but it's definitely up there. Like it'll be forgettable. Where if I do remember it, it'll just be because I can't believe that just happened. Like it was only 2 days, but I'm hoping that the next one is not going to be like that. And according to a Charlie saying that in Ahmedabad, they have so many different strips now that play very differently. So I guess they've got an array of different conditions that they can utilize with those pitches. Also, people in the chat, please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. I know most of you have. Cash, is there anything you want to touch upon?
I don't know. The interesting thing with the 5-day thing as well is you can dip in, dip out, because you know the rhythm of how it's going. So, and certainly by day 3, you kind of know whether it's going to finish soon or it's going to go to day 5. Whereas with this game, it was totally chaotic for me, just on a personal level, because it was like I had loads of work to do. I couldn't concentrate at all because I had to watch 17 wickets go down. That was kind of, yeah, that's just to add to what you're saying. I guess one last thing to think about is I don't know. I'm just thinking about the fact that there was loads of fans there, 50,000, 55,000. Obviously, the Indian team having a great time. Kohli having a bit of fun, at the end, bringing up the crowd and this,
The
that, and the
crowd
other.
definitely helps. The crowd definitely helps. I think you've seen the last 2 Test matches, haven't we? The crowd has definitely given India, especially Kohli, he loves the crowd. He feeds off it, I think. And considering India played good cricket, I think, for both Test matches, it helped. The crowd were behind them, and that definitely gives them a boost. It's like a 12th man, isn't it?
What did
go on?
What did you think, Fazan, about the third umpiring stuff?
Oh, it's poor. It's poor. Let's touch upon that actually in a bit. I want to touch upon that. That's quite a good topic. Before we do, there's a couple of questions, and let's do that because I think the third umpiring has been very interesting. Let's say throughout this whole series so far. Crypto17 says, "Is the next test a day nighter or just so it's just a day test match? It's not a day nighter, so no pink ball, and it won't be under lights as well. So normal timings resume. Early days for us in the UK." Young Lampo says, thoughts on Rohit Sharma? He hasn't played much since his resurgence in his test career away. So his stats look worse than they are away. He was good in Australia. He may be very dangerous in England. I know his stats are quite good at home. Away, they're not great. But obviously, since he's come back into the test fold, he's played most of his matches at home. So on pitches that normally are I guess, flatter than are used to away. What do you think, Cash? Actually, how do you think he'll fare well in England? They've got a couple of test matches in the summer, and potentially they'll play New Zealand in the final at Lords as well. What do you think?
Well, it's not just a couple; it's a five game series.
It's a 5-1, isn't it? Yeah,
big one. So looking forward to that. I don't think it's interesting. Like, I'm not sure how he's going to fare with the seam and the movement and all of that. Like, he's kind of very attacking way of playing. He can get out very quickly. We saw that with David Warner. When Warner comes to England, obviously it's slightly different left-hander, but Broad had his number. And Warner was trying to do these cover drives and this, that, and the other. He just kept on just nicking. And I feel like Rohit, he may go through a spell of doing that, of like trying to play these nice shots and just getting done. And maybe he needs to learn a bit from his good friend Virat about how you play in English conditions.
I was going to say that, yeah, because he obviously struggled, didn't he? Early doors, I think it was 2014 against Jimmy Anderson. And he was basically Jimmy Anderson's bunny for that whole series. But then he came back a couple of years later, and obviously he sorted it all out. There were some technical differences that he'd adjusted for the conditions. And those technical differences that he made in his game and adjustments, they made sure that he scored a lot of runs in that series, and he did. And I think maybe a similar thing holds true for Rohit Sharma. I don't know. I actually don't know if he's played an away test in England yet, or if he has or not. I don't know if he has actually, but considering it's going to be his first time, he's a bit older though than Virat was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll fare a little bit better, but potentially he might need to adjust, whether it's even after the first or second test. He might look at it before and make the adjustments before the test series. Let's see. But I think it's an interesting one. I agree with Young Lampers and also with you, Cash, that he's a very attacking player. And in England, normally what happens is, you either nick off or you can do something like a Crawley did, where you get 2-6-7, right? But those are kind of once in a kind of every 20 matches innings that you might put on. Rohit Sharma's got the ability to go big. If you can get through the initial stage with the new ball against Anderson and Archer, or I guess it would be Archer and Broad, or Wokes even. If you can get through the initial stage with the new ball, then I think you'll be fine. But it's just that early stages are going to be difficult, and it always is for every opening batsman. It's a trial really of seam swing early doors in the UK. So yeah, we'll see, but it'll be an interesting test, I think, for him for sure. Unless we get any more questions, which I'm sure we will, but before we do get some more and touch upon them, let's then touch upon the third umpiring catch, as you said, because, well, first of all, the DRS actually. Did you think DRS was accurate? Because there's a couple of ones I thought was so plumb and they were going over the stumps. I know the pink ball bounced a little bit more, but ball tracking to me seems wrong. Even for India, there were a couple that I thought were plumb, and they weren't they were given or weren't given, and then they reviewed it. And Ashwin and Akshar Patel were like, "What?" And the same happened to England, I thought. And I was just looking at it, thinking, "That how can that be going over? It just doesn't look like it's going to go over." What do you think?
Yeah, there was a lot of umpires calls, whether they'd said yes or no. And as you said, I don't know if my feeling was the variable bounce kind of through the system, that maybe they couldn't quite really model exactly what was going on. They didn't quite fully understand the trajectory. And I guess because it was such a variable pitch, it's kind of difficult to really look at that. Look, that is what it is. We know it's not fully accurate anyway, but we hope that with umpires call and that we get to kind of to pretty much the correct decision. I think we did for most of them. I think we because you're going off eye first and then you're going off the system, so like you can't be that wrong. But some of the third umpiring was very strange, suspiciously strange. The quickness they were doing things, they weren't looking at second, third, fourth, reverse angles. Things. There was certain catches which looked like they were grounded, but then they didn't look at the other thing. There was a bit of a, whether it was incompetence, I don't know. It may have just been they were trying to do it really quickly, but it just seemed a bit weird because it happened last test as well. Last test it was pretty poor as well.
Yeah, it was. I thought I agree with you. Like there was one, I think it was the catch, wasn't it? Where they didn't know whether it carried or not, and they watched one angle, and I think Crawley said the same thing. He said, "Look, we're not disputing that it didn't carry. We're disputing the fact that obviously they looked at it from like various angles for India, but for us they didn't do it, and I think that's obviously what they were looking at, but." Would it have had a massive difference? Probably not, but I think they need to look into the fact that obviously it wasn't great viewing to see that, and it just seemed like they weren't consistent, and that's not what you want to see from your third umpire. They've got time on their side to do it, so they need to be consistent with it, I think. Cash, is there anything you want to kind of talk about before we wrap up here?
I don't think so. I think it was pretty disappointing in the end test match. Even for anyone who's interested in test cricket, even if you're an Indian fan, I feel like you want to see a bit more from your teams. Because if you're an Indian fan, you want to see some players actually playing some cricket. I guess you saw Akshar Patel get an amazing set of wickets, but you didn't see him play for very long. So that's my kind of last feeling. I'm hoping that the next game is going to be a little bit longer. I wouldn't say necessarily needs to be more competitive, because I did think the game ebbed and flowed enough within the short space that we saw.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just actually on my phone, I've just seen here. So Yuvraj Singh has said, finished in 2 days. Not sure if that's a good thing for Test cricket. If Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh bowled on these kind of wickets, they would be sitting on 1,800. He's talking about wickets. He said, however, congratulations to Akshar Patel. What a spell! Congratulations, Ravi Ashwin and Ishant Sharma. So I think even ex-India players are saying that the pitch. They're not sure, and also our good friend Michael Vaughan, who obviously we're He's very divisive, but he said entertaining, yes, but this is an awful pitch for Test cricket. Complete lottery on day 2. And in a way, actually, I think Mark Ramprakash said that India it was a little bit of a risk because it was a bit of a lottery, and it could have worked against them if one of the England batsmen, the second innings, had put on a little bit of a score there, which Stokes looked like he might be able to do. It's one of those things. I think it's a shame that we've only seen 2 days of Test cricket. It would be nice to see a longer match and just more cricket in general. Like, who doesn't want to see more cricket? And I don't remember the last time that in 2 days you'd see a Test match get decided, maybe. And so Tark says, yes, after the Gabba victory, our viewers expect the match to go down to the 5th day. Yeah, I agree with you. So maybe it's a little bit of that. But I think even if we got to the 4th day, I'm happy. If it's midway through the 4th day, I'm like, okay, that happens. Anything like 3 days or less, I'm like, the pitch is wrong, probably. Or both teams have performed badly. But normally that doesn't happen over the space of 3 days. And that's what makes Test cricket so amazing, because you have to be consistent for a number of days. And that shines through. Whereas in T20s, you can have that where both teams might underperform, and next thing you know, the game's over in an hour. Similarly, with ODIs, you can have that as well. A team might collapse in the first innings, and then the next team chases it really quickly. It's over in 2 hours. But in Test cricket, you don't have that because you've got 2 bites of the cherry with the batting, and same with the bowling. So I just think, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. And Kritik says India's batting was poor, and so was England's batting. He said, "How did India win?" Because England's batting was a lot poorer than India's, I think, in the end. That's the thing. And the spinners made a huge difference. That's what I would say. And in the end, the chase of 49 is just too easy for them. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Please do like this and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please do send it to as I said, your partners, your siblings, your cousins, your family, friends, your friends, everyone that you know. If you think they're interested in cricket and they'd like it as well, check out my interviews I've done if you're interested in those as well, with some people, some domestic cricketers, also someone who's playing in the PSL currently, Ahmed Asif for Peshawar Zalmi, who won the PSL last year with Karachi Kings. I haven't managed to get any Indian players on yet, but I'm sure I will do at some point, fingers crossed. But yeah, thanks very much, guys. Any closing remarks, Cash?
No, I'm just looking forward to kind of the next game. And I guess we're going to be looking forward then to India coming to England and just some of the matchups, and just having that in the back of our mind, because that's obviously going to be a 5 test series as well, 5 test match series. So.
Do you think, and I think we can ask this as well close to the time, do you think England are going to change some of the pitches?
I don't know. I feel like the thing is, I guess the green tops and so on is harder for the Indian batsmen.
Yeah.
But
like for example, the oval, right, isn't really known for being a green top. It's known for being pretty flat, and then spin comes on later on. So I don't know if there is a test there, but I'd assume there is. So if there's one there,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think they'll go to those levels. I feel like they have a bit more. Look, this is going to sound a bit, I feel like they have a bit more standards about this. That's just my opinion.
Or maybe it's subtlety.
A bit controversial, maybe, but I feel like they're a little bit more.
They're probably more regulated, I think, with the ECB. Probably, I'd assume. I don't know though. We'll see. It's an interesting one. Maybe let's talk about it close to time. But yeah, I think I agree with you. They might just have to deal with pitches how they are. And so Tark says here there should be a friendly match between the players who are on the bench. Bess and Kuldeep can play on this pitch. Yeah, why not? Why not? They may as well. In fact, I don't know. That's a really good. They should do practice matches on there and televise it. Why not?
I know.
Like that's the thing. They should do that. Yeah.
Just do T20s on it.
That's what I'm saying. Just do T20s and they can be friendlies, as Satak's saying. They should, especially for the guys, anyone who's paid for it, and then I think Achar says to me, you don't get your money back. So if you've paid for day 3, day 4, day 5, even here in the UK, I said it, like if it finishes on day 3, day 4, day 5, you've got to put on some cricket. even if it's a friendly, at least they get some view. They might still moan about it, but majority won't. They'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And the players, it's a lot less strain playing T20 cricket anyway. They can bring the boundaries in a little bit. It's not an issue. And yeah, like I think that maybe it's just a mental thing as well. Maybe they don't want to play, but they've got big squads here in India, so they should just do that. I'll personally say. And Cryptic17 says, Alafis Pro PSL tomorrow. I'll be watching the live stream. Thank you very much for joining, everyone, as well. So Dark, Cryptic, Young Lamppost, AXAR, Magic Gamer. I think we had loads of others. Rendezvous as well. Pakistan Cricket Live News, Boomer. Everyone who did join the chat, thank you. I really appreciate it. Do like this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Cash, as well, for being on. Appreciate it. He jumped on. I sent the stream in our group, and he jumped on, which is kind of him. So I really do appreciate it. And see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much.